Welcome to Vast and Club's transition to online TMA membership sales. In this presentation, we will talk to you about why we'd like to do this, how we will do it, and when. So first, let's talk about how and when. We will be updating all VAST internal database functions on top of what we already have without hiring an outside source. So this system is currently already built. It's a system we've been using for 3 years, and all we had to add to it was additional member numbers to be able to host the additional members that we would put into it. Because we built this system ourselves and built it internally, we've saved thousands of dollars by not hiring an outside source, and it's easy to add those additional members with little cost to produce that result. We will be presenting to clubs in early summer of 2020, which is what we are currently doing. It is currently mid-July. We will be holding training sessions via Zoom for clubs and vendors selling online TMAs later this summer. All TMA sales can now begin on October 1st each year instead of waiting for paper forms to be printed. Often we have to wait until after annual meeting, and then it takes a couple of months for those forms and stickers to get to us to be able to send out to the clubs. So this would mean everybody could start buying their TMAs October 1st. We will be sending clubs weekly and monthly reports with new member information, and I'll describe that a little later on. And we will have direct deposits bi-monthly to all clubs with their dues from TMA sales. And again, I'll describe that a little later on. So why would we want to do this? Well, this would put more money in the hands of clubs. So we know now currently with COVID-19, there's been a lack of fundraisers from late this winter and during this summer and possibly next fall and winter. So this would guarantee that if TMA sales are coming in, that there would be additional revenue in the hands of the majority of clubs and to help them out with other bills or other costs that they have. It would also help to have real-time revenue forecasting so we know in advance how much we can spend on grooming and grants. So currently the way the system works, we don't know until late winter or early spring how much money we're actually going to be bringing in because clubs are still sending in their regular season TMAs at that point. And so this would give us a better idea of how much money we had ongoing throughout the season. And if we needed to spend extra money in for different programs, we would be able to do that. This would also streamline the sales process and tighten up the system to avoid incomplete or wrong information. It would ensure that all TMAs are signed by the buyer and they have read or had someone read to them the contractual language. So this is incredibly important for our insurance that we have everyone's captured response using their own signature and that they have either read it or had someone read it to them if they don't know how to read. And the above one that I already read about streamlining the sales process to avoid incomplete or wrong information. We are constantly chasing down wrong information or just can't read people's handwriting, and so are you guys. The clubs are doing that too, so this would help that. This would also save volunteer and staff time. So this is going to save volunteer time where these volunteers that spend a multitude of hours every season selling and reconciling their TMAs, it's going to free them up for other tasks that they could do within the club. It's also going to help with staff time. So we've reflected that in the budget that we're presenting for next year by reducing some staff time because this will save us time too. This will also avoid face-to-face interaction if we cannot sell in person. So we don't know yet if we can't, but just in case, this would help alleviate that. This will also be able to get membership information into the VAST database so members get updated information. Right now, if they are a new member or one that did not buy a TMA membership the year prior, often they're not added to our database until summer or later. So that means these folks are riding all winter long and they don't have the ability to hear from VAST. They're not getting the magazines, they're not getting any updates or anything through an e-blast or an e-news from us. Okay, so then we wanted to look at, okay, so what would this mean for clubs if we move to completely online? Well, it would transfer the cost associated with selling TMAs to VAST. So clubs have more funds. So you guys would no longer have any fees associated with selling TMAs. So you wouldn't have the bank or credit card fees. You don't have to mail or ship or any associated supplies. There'd be more club dues. 94% of VAST clubs will see a significant amount of increased revenue with an overall $200,000 impact for all clubs collectively based on 20,000 members. There'd be less volunteer time needed, as I mentioned before. There'd be weekly and monthly cumulative reports with new and existing member information. So let me tell you what that means. So every week you would be getting a report that tells you who had joined the week before, and that would accumulate throughout the month. So the second week in January, you would be getting a report from the first week that, let's say you had 10 members that joined that first week in January. The second week, you'd get a report with those 10 members. The third week, you'd get a report with the 10 members from the first week and then the additional members that had joined the second week, and that will accumulate throughout the month. And then you'll also get bi-monthly payments of all club dues collected by VAST. So that means that twice a month, you'd be getting a direct deposit from VAST with all the club dues that we've collected. Now, you'd still have the ability to sell, but now using a computer or tablet. So you can go to a store and sell one of your vendors. You can hold a small event with social distancing and masks and sell at a library if somebody doesn't have computer access. Somebody's house, sitting on a front porch. However, you're still going to be able to sell TMAs. You're just going to be using a computer instead of, or tablet or smartphone instead of the paper forms. There's no more chasing incorrect information or bounce checks. I already covered the incorrect information, but bounce checks, there are some serial check bouncers out there. These folks write big checks to a club, bounce it. The club has a hard time or can't get a hold of them, and consequently, that person moves on to another club the next year. We know this happens. It's happened every year for the past few years, and so this would alleviate that. And then all club donations made without a TMA purchase can still be done directly through the clubs, but we're also, and we'll show that in our next presentation, when someone buys a TMA, they will have the ability to donate more money to that club if they'd like to, or also join other clubs in addition to the main club that they've joined when they purchase their TMA. So let's look at what would this mean for VAST members. This would be an ease of purchase, so they would be able to buy from anywhere on a smartphone, iPad, tablet, or PC 24/7 starting October 1st. They'd have that real-time addition to all VAST communications, like I mentioned before, so they'd immediately start getting the magazine, e-blast, and alerts. All lost TMAs and transfers would be done online, so they wouldn't have to go back to their original club and find that person again to do a lost TMA or a transfer. And TMAs, again, can still be bought from a business or a club via computer, tablet, or smartphone. And then we looked at, well, what would this mean for VAST? So again, real-time revenue tracking. We can track throughout the entire winter the financial health of this organization. We'd have real-time updates of VAST membership information, guaranteed signature capture on TMA forms, and more accurate information and less chance of selling wrong TMA. So no longer would early bird TMAs be sold after December 15th, which we know happens. Okay, so let's look at how this system would work. And we're going to call this option 1. So this is how we currently do it. This is how we've done it the past 3 years. So October, in October, but this would be October 1st now. October 1st to December 15th would be the traditional early bird season. So we would have the traditional early bird rate, plus now club and county dues of $30. That's a combination of club and county dues of $30. And the clubs would actually be sent the entire $30, and then they would have to reconcile with their county, whatever their county charges. There are a few counties in the state of Vermont that actually don't have county dues. And there's a $5 processing fee, and that processing fee stays with VAST. And I'll just point out that this is not paying staff or payroll or anything. This is truly a processing fee. It helps us to capture some of the expenses that this system has, and I'm going to describe that to you in a later slide. Then again, we have the standard regular season TMA rate. There's the $30 club and county dues, the $5 processing. And then we go down to the 3-day TMA, which remains the same as we've always done it. Now the club and county dues are $20, not $30, and there is no processing fee because we're not processing, we're not sending out stickers. Basically what happens when someone buys a 3-day TMA online, they are sent a certificate immediately that they can carry on their sled or have on their smartphone to show law enforcement if they go through a safety check. And so on that, it has all their sled information, all of the riders' contact information, and the 3 days that they've picked to ride. Now, they can buy this 3-day TMA the morning they're going to go out and ride, or they can buy it 2 months in advance. They just need to put in the 3 days they're going to ride, and it comes right out on that certificate. Same thing happens, I'll back up into when people buy early bird or regular season, full season TMAs, they receive a certificate immediately that's good for 10 days, which gives VAST 10 days to mail them out their sticker. So again, they take this certificate, it's got all their sled information, all their personal information, and it says what day it's good until, and they carry that with them, and it gives us 10 business days to get them their sticker in the mail and all their paperwork that they need to ride. And law enforcement is very used to seeing these certificates. So now let's look at how this might affect clubs. And so we're gonna start in the top row to get you used to kind of looking at this spreadsheet. If you go to the top row under club and county dues, there is under $10. There is one club in the state of Vermont that charges less than $10 for a total of club and county dues. That one club has 160 members. Go all the way over to the right. The projected dues gained, so this is above what they already get for their dues. That one club is projected to gain $3,218 next season. If you go all the way down to, let's say, $15, so we have 30 clubs. The majority of our clubs in the state charge $15 for a total of club and county dues. That represents 6,119 members. Go all the way over to the right. Projected dues gained, 82,155, split among those 30 clubs based on 6,119 members. You can go down to let's go down to $20. There's 17 clubs that charge a total of club and county dues of $20, representing 3,647 members. All the way over to the right, those 17 clubs are looking to divide up about $32,910. Slide, so this just gives you a time frame. So we brought this to the board's attention. The Long Range Planning Committee is the group that's been working on this, brought it to the board's attention in May, talked about it some more in June. In July, and late June began to alert clubs with Zoom meetings and presentations, which we're currently doing now. It's mid-July. On July 27th, the board will vote on this, and that's our next board meeting. In September, we will present something to the members at annual meeting, info sheets and things like that that they can hand out to their clubs. And then we'll also begin holding Zoom trainings for clubs and vendors. So these will be online trainings for clubs and vendors that want to take part in that. Beginning in October, we'll start selling TMAs. And this is very important. In May of next year, at the end of the season, we're going to reevaluate the system for the future, and we're going to include all you guys. We want your feedback. What worked? What didn't work? What could we make better? So we can continue to sharpen this tool. We've already got it pretty sharp. We think it's going to work great, but of course, it's really it's important that everybody have a voice in this, whether it's this initial vote on moving into completely online to reevaluating this again in next May. So just as a note at the bottom of your screen, all volunteer TMAs will be done the same as always, and clubs will be sent their volunteer TMAs directly. And if any club wishes to purchase additional TMAs, they can still do that directly through me. For questions or comments about this presentation, you can reach me. I'm Cindy Locke, VAST Executive Director. Phone number is 802-229-0005, extension 11, or email Cindy, C-I-N-D-Y, @vtvast.org. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.